What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Random Jam's GEEK YAK show. We cover all types of news, topics, and discussions in the geek world. And today we are covering Wandavision, the whole show, top to bottom. Today is non-spoilers, so don't worry. This is for all the people who decided to wait and not watch it week to week. We're looking at you, Lane. And today we're going to cover our thoughts, our reactions, and kind of what we think about the show overall. Without any spoilers. And so Taylor, are you excited to talk about WandaVision, and how are you feeling today?
I feel great. I am a little tired, but I'm great. Watched that final episode just 2 days ago. It was awesome. But yeah, it's going to be hard to talk about it without doing spoilers. But I mean, we'll try. But
we will try.
But I'm happy with it. For one, I think it was it's going to be a great catalyst into future things, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, well, if you're joining us for the first time, the way this show works is we come up with various topics in the geek world, we break them down, talk about them, and today, like I said, we are covering WandaVision from top to bottom, so all you binge watchers out there can know what to do, what to think, and what to expect going into the show as you watch it this week. So Taylor, let's start at the very beginning. All right, the first introduction that we get into the show, and without giving it away, we start out in the 1950s era. We see a lot of weird things happening, but at the same time, you know, we aren't really sure what is happening. Same thing with the rest of the show, and kind of a little bit of background on the show without giving it away. Basically, they're in this reality that is throughout multiple decades, and they kind of show you that and unfold these ideas through each episode. But Taylor, what were your first initial thoughts of the beginning of the show, and how did you feel about it going into it?
From the first episode, the first thing that went through my mind was, what are they doing? Like, why? What is the purpose? I mean, it's like, you know, we've got all this stuff going on. We got these big Marvel movies, big events, emotions. You know, Iron Man's gone, Captain America's gone. All these big main things. It's cool. Let's just have a sitcom. No plot right off the bat. Just we'll take place back in the 50s with two characters that you like, and that'll be the end of it. How? I don't know. Why? I don't know. Why is Vision back? How is he back? I don't know.
That's the crazy part about the show, is that we've experienced all these MCU films that have been massive, and, you know, especially coming off of Endgame and Far From Home in the Spider-Man series, they've kind of taken us into this TV series approach and broken down these characters and made a very simple story, you know, with Wanda and Vision and how she's dealing with the aftermath of Infinity War and Endgame. It's really interesting, all the concepts that they explore, and especially the balance of this sitcom kind of approach that they've done. But yeah, it's a really interesting way to start the series, and I'm sure a lot of people going into this will be a little bit confused, but I promise you, to those who are listening, it gets better and it's awesome. So
I think that the people that and the real, like, Marvel fans will know. I mean, they teased all the way back from the very first trailer that it's possible that all this is Wanda's doing anyway. So you're just like, dang, I know that she was, like, strong and powerful. She probably could have taken on Thanos if he didn't, like, fire all those guns at her. But, like, it's about to get real. We're about to really break into how powerful this Marvel character is. So I think that's something that a lot of Marvel fans actually picked up on. And all these other people were just like, oh, new show, let's check it out. And everyone else was just like, what? Okay, we'll see.
Right. Yeah. And that's the funny thing, is, like, you have a lot of the casual fans who may have just logged on to Disney Plus, you know, since we've, you know, been in the lockdown, and kind of been like, oh, I'll check out some shows. and maybe not have seen all the Marvel movies or don't necessarily know the full backstory
Mm-hmm.
of Wanda Maximoff and Vision. And so I can really see where people coming in, especially to that first episode, really confused and kind of, maybe blindsided. But I definitely think, for those who are binging it, um, get through those first three episodes. I think it's the first 3 or 4 episodes that it's
Mm-hmm.
it's very different. It is in that sitcom style as we've seen in the trailers, and I think that this show has shown us a lot of interesting things that the Marvel universe has never done before.
Mm-hmm.
And what were some of those things that stood out to you, without giving away spoilers, but just kind of how the story came together, and maybe the way some of the actors kind of all played into this giant mess that Wanda and Vision are dealing with.
Well, I can say that first off, the chemistry is great with everybody that's in the show. We already knew that Wanda and Vision they had good chemistry. We've already known that. But everyone else that they brought into the show, like all of the secondary, third, fourth, fifth characters, great. I mean, Marvel does a great job with casting anyway. But it was gosh, it's gonna be hard to talk without spoilers. But it was different. That's really all I can say. Because like you said, the first 3 episodes, you're just like, I'm watching a sitcom. This has something to do with something, but we just don't know yet. And I'm just gonna have to kind of fight through it to get to it. But there's a reason for why they do everything that they do. So you just got to get through it. My questions were obviously why. And I got to say, I did ask that after I finished the first episode. I was just like, why did we watch that? What was the purpose of all this? And then, as like you said, as you go through it, you'll understand why they did what they did. But it was exciting because it was something new. It was confusing because it was something new. And it was a little, that's really the only two things that I can really say about it. Because that's really all that happens,
Well,
especially with
let's
those
let's,
first few
let's talk
episodes.
about some of the acting. So we've got obviously we have Wanda, played
Mm-hmm.
by Elizabeth Olsen, who does an incredible job, and we have Vision, who's played by Paul Bettany, and then some of the other characters, Monica Rambeau.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Jimmy Woo,
Mm-hmm.
and who we saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
We have Darcy. She was from some of the Thor movies,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a scientist in this film. And then we have the sword director, Hayward. I forget
Mm-hmm.
his first name, but they always reference him as Hayward the whole time. So he was a really interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
I won't really give away what all he does, but he does create an interesting dynamic
Yes.
into what we're seeing in the show. And then some of the other characters like Jimmy Woo and Darcy, like they were nice comic relief for a lot of the tragedy and other things that are going on. And then
Mm-hmm.
kind of seeing things from their point of view and their lens is also interesting to see, because they kind of experience this whole show in the same eyes that we do. We're kind of asking some of the same questions that they would ask.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, the acting was incredible. I think you know, everyone deserves some kind of reward. I really hope that they get some recognition for this, because yeah. So what were some of the uh, acting moments, without giving things away, or some of the actors in general that kind of stuck out to you?
Well, I was very happy that they brought in at least Kat Dennings to be Darcy again, because she was an important character in Thor. So that was kind of good to see her come back in there. I thought Josh Stanberg, when he was the sword director, yeah, I can remember his first name either.
Hayward.
But yeah, Hayward. But that was one of those moments where I had to sit there and I had to try to remember, because I don't think I paid too much attention back in the day to know that I knew there was a shield for sure, but sword never stuck out to me
Right.
until I actually had to go and look up sword again. So that was pretty cool. A lot of people from different shows that I liked, like that '70s show They had actors from That 70s Show in it. They
Mhm.
had people from How I Met Your Mother in it. I'm not going to spoil all those moments, but just so many different like big name actors that came in and actresses that came in. They just threw off out of nowhere. But like I said, like we were talking about, the chemistry with all of them is just great. It's like it doesn't matter if this was Avengers and that was Thor. It's just like they're in the same universe and they're together like they're in the same you can tell there's no like awkward transition between one movie to another one, especially since Darcy Lewis wasn't uh in game and all that kind of stuff. But yep, here she comes right after Thor, coming right into WandaVision. So it's good
Right.
that they threw her in there. That was pretty cool. But I was kind of excited too when they threw in Monica Rambeau as well, because I didn't know. I knew that they were going to use her along with Little Miss Marvel that's coming out soon in Captain Marvel 2, but
Right.
I didn't realize at one point we were going to be introduced to Monica, and I'm glad that they did that through this show too. And they gave a
Oh,
lot of
definitely.
backstory for all of that, so that's pretty great.
Definitely, definitely. So for those who are watching this video now, first of all, thanks for tuning in.
Mhm.
Um, Taylor, what advice would you give for those who are about to binge watch this show this week that decided to wait? And what advice would you give them? And how are they gonna love or hate this show?
I would say push through to the end so you can have that oh moment. Okay, just like everyone else did that watched it week by week. Push through it. There's a reason, and you got to make it to that last episode. Okay, because everything will make sense from the first to the last episode in that last. I think it's the last 2 episodes. So you got to watch it. Okay, it might be a little dry, and it was first 2 episodes. While they just established all that backstory, push through, and it'll be worth the wait. Worth the wait. And be excited, because I definitely was, especially when it got to the last couple episodes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's worth it. Just stick it out.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely they definitely take you on a ride. They
Mm-hmm.
they start out with something very unique and special that the MCU has never done before, and then they start to peel back the layers every week. That was so I would say that was the fun part about watching it week to week
Mm-hmm.
was that little carrot of treat every week that they were dangling in front of you and something to look forward to as well, to kind of keep you on the edge and keep you interested and make you want to tune back in every week. So I would say for those who are binge watching it, you're going to have a completely different experience than that we had. But I can definitely say that it will be a different experience as far as watching an episode and then getting the solution to that immediately after. So I'm curious to see people's reactions that watched it,
Mm-hmm.
that have binge watched it now. If you are binge watching it, let us know in the comments what you're thinking about it so far, or what you think about it as a whole. And yeah, like I said, I guess I'll have to go back and binge watch it to kind of see what that was like. But I'm definitely glad that I saw it week to week because
Mm-hmm.
number one, I was able to avoid most of the spoilers,
Yeah.
leaks that would come out, and luckily nothing big came out and spoiled it for me. But I do have a mad respect for all the people that decided to wait and check it out for the first time all together, all 9 episodes.
Make a
So
weekend. Just make a weekend out of it. Yeah.
exactly,
But
exactly.
I'll say this: try this isn't a spoiler because it's a sitcom. Everyone knows that sitcoms have like openings to them. So try to see if you can pinpoint references. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
and I
Okay.
think that was one of the coolest things
Yeah.
going from episode to episode is kind of
Mhm.
catching all the Easter eggs
It's our
and the
childhood,
references.
all of our openings from different shows and all that kind of stuff. See if you can pinpoint which is which. And I guarantee you, like I said, every episode when you see something else, you'll go, oh, and you'll do it. So that's my challenge to you.
All right. So as we wrap up here, this was a little bit shorter episode than normal, but we just wanted to come in here this week, give you a little bit of our synopsis and our reaction to WandaVision for those who have not stepped into that yet. We want to let you know that it is a great show, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it, and as
Mm-hmm.
well as the rest of the world becoming the number one, watch show this past few months. So that's a great sign for the viewers as well as Marvel as they continue down this road into the Disney Plus series of shows that they have coming up, whether it be Falcon and Winter Soldier, which will be headed to us soon, and Loki and things like that. So we have a lot to look forward to this year as far as Disney Plus streaming service shows. But yeah, so before we wrap up here, Taylor, we'll both go each and give our grade from a 0 to a Gem Mint 10 of what we thought of the series overall. Non-spoilers, WandaVision.
10.
Gem Mint 10 all the way through.
10, all the way through, and I'll probably ride it at an 8 until we get to the last couple episodes, and then it shoots. If it could go higher than a 10, it could, but they can't. So
I think I'm gonna have to go with a 9, just because. And this is a warning to everyone going into it, and it's something that nobody was prepared for. Manage your expectations and your theories, because that was the craziest thing about the show, was all of the possibilities that could happen based on Easter eggs, references, even things they would say. It just, you gotta make sure that you go into this series with no expectations whatsoever. Not necessarily low expectations, but just making sure that, and it's fine to have your own theories and thoughts, for sure. We love to speculate, but definitely don't let that get in the way of the story that they are trying to tell, because it is a well-crafted and well-executed story from beginning to end. And even without the things that people may have speculated or theorized, it still holds up on its own. It didn't need any of that. And I feel like some of that stuff may have taken away from what they were actually trying to do, and taking it away from Wanda and Vision and the story that they were telling with these two. So
appreciate the fact that Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 91%.
Exactly. There's another one right there that lets you know that WandaVision is a must-see. And make sure you check it out. Binge it on Disney Plus as soon as you can, so you can't get it spoiled for you. And be ready to go on this MCU journey with us as we go throughout this year. So yeah, anything else left to add, Taylor?
Good luck. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did.
I agree. All right, guys. Well, that's enough Geek Yak for today. I'm Reese. This is Taylor. We are glad you joined us. Make sure you follow Random Jam on Facebook and YouTube. Follow me at Reese_MCK, and you can follow Taylor at
Taylor Jackson. The A's or V's.
The A's or V's. And what is it?
It's that simple.
All right, guys. So we'll see you next week for our spoiler discussion of WandaVision. You don't want to miss that. If you happen to catch the whole series this weekend and watch it, come back with us next week. We'll talk all spoilers. We'll get deep into all the references, the Easter eggs, all of the top moments and things like that. So stick around for part 2, which will be the spoiler discussion. And then part 3 of this series will be all the top moments that we loved, as well as maybe some unanswered questions that we happen to find out. So definitely check it out. And we will see you guys next week. Stay geeky, y'all.